Global warming is ravaging the Earth. The Mayan calendar predicts the world will end in 2012. And over 3,000 independent record stores have closed in the past decade.
Well, we're at war with, with most of the Muslim world. We've got the dumbest president in the history of the United States, and you're worried about record stores? That's a danger. I can think of a lot more dangers than record stores going under.
Yeah.
All right, it is February 22nd, 2007. This here is Malcolm Tent talking to you. We have known now for 6 days that Trash American Style is going to lose its lease effective May 1st, 2007 here at beautiful Mill Plain Road.
What makes you want to come back here?
I can't come back here.
It's like, your best friend's moving away to a faraway land, and you just can't buy a plane ticket to go and find him, And
Yeah.
You never know when you're seeing him again.
How long have you been here?
10 years. 10 years.
Are you ready to move on?
There may well be people who work in the record industry who like music, and they might even care about music. But I can assure you, the people that own the labels do not, all they care about is money.
This idea there's one music, there's one hip, it is so dangerous for any kind of future, any kind of art, any kind of life in anything.
A handful of companies have bought such a big majority of radio stations, and out of one office control what the playlist is for somewhere halfway across the country. It's taken all the regionality out of music.
When you're in a smaller community and you're a consumer, you don't have a choice because Walmart crushed everybody. And so you're left with what their cultural assortment is, and it's pretty up assortment.
I mean, obviously everybody talks about the digital. Convenience is king in America. It always has been. If you can get music digitally, it's very convenient. Convenience will win out many, 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 many times.
I turned 50 this year, and I still my dream is still to have a record store.
Stores are over. Does anybody not know that at this point? I mean, am I telling anyone anything new? I mean, it's over.
When I'm roaming around downtown, I like to walk in and see what's new on the rack, and because I need more records.
Last question, what's your favorite rock record or record?
You got me on that one.
Record keeps on spinning, makes my life worth living. Record keeps on turning, all the hits I'm learning.
How many of you have been to one of the Apple stores? Okay, so if you find this experience here alien to you, if you haven't had the opportunity over the years to go to a music store, I think some of the attitude and vibe, aside from the corporate nature of the Apple store, it's the same, it's a meeting place where people exchange ideas, have fun. I know the stores in the city are open 24/7. I've had friends tell me that it's a wonderful scene and a place to meet members of the opposite sex, and I don't know if that's true or not. But disturbing statistics certainly here, even more so today with the continuing demise of retail stores, where in Manhattan your limitations, particularly in Midtown or north of Times Square, or even north of 14th Street, are so limited in where you can purchase music, and that's the number one market in America. So I don't know what some of the statistics in there. What was it? Was it 20%?
20% of all records, are sold at Walmart. Albums. Is that the statistic
right?
You're referring
and yet
to?
Today, Walmart, is considering downsizing the amount of music they carry, because for them, it's no big deal.
Well, yeah. I mean, they tried those exclusive deals with
the Eagles and AC/DC. And you know, I think it's those exclusive deals are done. I think just like the guy said from Grimey's, the space that those stores are going to devote to music when they could have, like, you know, name any product that would be more valuable than that. You know, when people can download it for free or make a CD at home for free. Yeah, I mean, that shelf space, that if they can make more money in that amount of space, that's what they're going to do. They're about making money. I mean, you know.
So, obviously, you're from Connecticut because there was a lot of regional music stores there. So, is that where you grew up?
Yeah, Record Express, like I said in the movie, was the store I grew up with. When I went in there when I was like 6 with my dad, and then just kept going, and then even through college, it was like when I came home, I had to get out of the house, just go to the record store for a few hours. So.
In the film, one of the retailers mentioned that they thought the price for a piece of music should be $10.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly enough, since you made this documentary, Universal, which is the #1 distributor in America, has announced that they're doing this $9.99 program, and they feel that that's going to stimulate and increase sales of music. They did a lot of testing and found that it didn't erode sales from other retailers in the market, and so they feel that they've found or stumbled on the magic number of as of reference there. Being that we're sort of, you know, under time here, I was wondering if any of you guys had any questions for Brendan here, who spent a lot of his time and personal money putting this documentary together. I wonder if anyone had any questions. Yes, sir.
Two things. How do you feel about torrenting now for music, and how do you feel it's going to affect your documentary?
Well, I mean, I think it'd be cool if people torrented my movie. That would mean that there would be such a demand that people would have to host it all the time, right? That's like a shock to me that somebody would want to torrent it. I mean, I know it's a good movie, but I don't know about how many documentary torrents there are out there.
Well, I'm just asking because
yeah.
There are hits for it already on Google if you look it up.
Oh, nice.
There are people that are asking for torrents. So.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Anyways, you know, of course, I'd like to make a buck off of it, as would the musicians and artists who, you know, have stuff on torrents and mega upload pages and wherever else you can get stuff. How do I feel about music? I mean, I'm gonna be completely honest. I download nearly like all my music now. I'm working on another documentary. I have no money. Like, yeah, I just got out of school. I sort of have a part-time, semi-full-time job. I don't know, it's like 30 hours a week. But, you know, film is the #1 thing. So in terms of new stuff, you know, if it's a band that I really like or care about, then I'll go out and buy the CD or even the vinyl. And I feel bad about it. If I had money, sure. And I'm sure a lot of you guys feel the same way. Or maybe you do have money. I don't know. Or just don't care. I mean, either way you cut it, it's a reality, and it's always going to be a reality. You know, it's like when in the 90s when the major labels went after like cassette taping. I mean, it's just pirating is always going to be there, and there's just no way to combat it.
So you personally would take it almost kind of a form of flattery.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, the whole thing with the documentary too is just to get the idea and the kind of awareness out there. I just want people to see it. So, well, yeah, of course, I'd like people to pay for it. It'd mean a lot to me, but I don't know if people are. I mean, I'm just thinking of all the film festivals I've done with this movie, and I rarely get paid to screen it or anything, and that's fine. I just enjoy showing it to people. So.
But it is commercially available, or will
yes,
be actually?
It will be Saturday, and then July everywhere, Amazon, Netflix, the whole gamut. So, yeah.
What made you pick this subject?
Well, it started out that I was reading a lot about it in like the newspaper, and everybody was so quick to like just say, oh, well, iTunes is like the wave of the future, downloading is what's killing it, and I knew that that wasn't the case. There was a lot of things with corporate greed, a lot of things with the Telecom Act, a lot of things with who the labels were pushing. That just, none of that was in any of the articles. So then once I heard my hometown record store, Record Express, was closing down, I wasn't there at the time, so I sent a friend to go there with a camera and just interview him, and just kept the ball rolling. You know, I had friends and stuff, my parents even, why do you want to make a movie about this? This is a dumb subject, like it's already over. But I think that there's something that's just still like, there's something missing. I don't know, I think music is slowly fading more and more away from the focus of entertainment and culture and art, and it's sad, but it's, you know, the music business has kind of shot itself in its own foot many times. All the way in the back.
I really enjoyed the movie. A couple of things. Were you ever getting like really annoyed with some of these people? Like I was sitting,
like who?
I don't know. Like
you can say it. I mean,
like especially the gentleman last gentleman who spoke. He's now selling. But I don't want to just say with him. I enjoy each of them. They're all characters in their own way. But like as just one of them to be like. They're like holding on to something, you know, and it was like frustrating for me to watch them hold on to something like that just is no longer exists, you know, and instead, and because you just said something that I agree with but disagree with. You said the music business has shot itself in the foot.
Yeah.
And I disagree with that because I don't think the music business has shot itself in the foot. I think the record business has shot itself in the foot. I think
That's true.
Because of digital, of the MP3 and technology, that this is like, I mean, I hate to use this guy as an example, but I mean, Justin Bieber was discovered, you know, through YouTube, was discovered because of, you know, technology and things like that. So I'm just like, I guess my point is I understand the community and what these people are holding on to, but I also feel that technology is what's going to push us forward into thinking outside the box, and I think it's easier to come across new music now than...
Well, I mean, a lot of what Steve and I were talking about in the car on the way here is how there's no major filter that sort of gets everybody's ears tuned into what's going on. I guess certainly there's music blogs, there's Pitchfork, there's, I don't know, anything outside that like I guess young people know.
When he talks about Justin Bieber, anybody in this room aware of Justin Bieber prior to his...
I'm not aware of Justin Bieber.
No, anybody aware of him prior to his commercial release on Island Def Jam? So there are people in this room are going to say that they were aware of Justin Bieber before he commercially released his first record. Okay. Because conventional wisdom now is that while the playing field has been leveled due to technology, that there really hasn't been any particular one act or artist that has been totally made technologically available just because of the internet, because as we talked about, you need a filter, you need a marketing brand, you need those tools that require money and resources, and like it or not, if you're a capitalist and you want to make money, you still require radio airplay, which involves a whole other dynamic. And so Justin Bieber, as successful as he is, would not be to the extent, the level he is at this point without his performance on Saturday Night Live, without the constant airplay of radio stations across America. Yes, he was an internet phenomena, but then so is that Taiwan guy who's been singing on YouTube this week that has an amazing voice. You know, Susan Boyle would not have been the phenomena in America had Sony not released that piece of music. So I still think you need the infrastructure that some of these people were talking about to get to that level. Yes, they're hanging on to a dream, hanging on to an old reality. There's a certain Lenny Kaye talking about vinyl and how to feely, touchy, and he comes across, God bless him, as an old goat, saying that. But you know what? That's his point of view. He feels you need that tangible object. I defy there's very few people in this room who would agree with that they need to feel and look at the artwork and feel the vinyl and like to hear the scratches in a 78. He's hearkening back to an old time that he wants to hear. Right. But there is a value to having a place where you can discover music beyond the internet, beyond the impersonal nature. And that's, I think, what that guy, several of those retailers were talking about, sir.
I, for one, love the artwork that comes with CDs or anything. And that's what attracted me to a lot of artists. I didn't even know what kind of music they played. And that's how I picked up a lot of the CDs and bands by the art on the album. It just caught my eye. I'm like, if the art's good, the music has to follow it.
That's what Thurston Moore, Patterson Hood, I mean, all those guys said from like when they were a kid, age 7. I went in and I saw the artwork.
And like I try to do the same thing, like with the bands out there, I'm like, you gotta, visually catch them and sonically catch them. Otherwise, you're not gonna get as many people as you could get. If someone needs to see something and hear something to make a good connection.
Yeah, I want to say, well, you did a great job. It's a hell of a film. I will buy it. I would torrent it too, but anyway.
Thank you. Do both, yeah.
I lived in Nashville up until a couple of years ago, so I know those people, and I'm pro Napster of the old days. I'm just the black sheep. But that aside, I'm really glad that you interviewed. I want to know how you got to know two friends of mine in this. One, Mike Dries, and another, Doyle Davis in Nashville. He and I have known each other 30 years. And his store is so damn successful. Well, Mike Dries of Blueberry Comics started that, and that's outrageously great. These are two guys who do so damn well, and they're independent. Well, Doyle's only got the one, but he's also a music manager and all that. How did you come across them, and how did you like dealing with them? I mean, I'm always, they're my friends, but I'm fans. Whenever they speak, they're always like right on.
Mike Dries was like, that interview was like 2.5 hours, and by the end we weren't even talking about music. We were arguing about, he tried to say that stealing a Clash song is the same as f***ing up somebody's medical record. So, or like messing with their DNA. He said, oh, it's identity theft. It's the same thing. Stealing ones and zeros, it's the same thing. So he's just extremely opinionated, and I sort of knew of him from some of you might read it, the Bob Lefsetz letter. That guy writes way too much, and he likes the Eagles too much, but the responses are incredible. So Mike occasionally is on there and is wicked opinionated. So I thought, like, and his stores are really successful, so I thought I had to get him. And then Grimey's was you always read about that store in any kind of national kind of record store article. And they are ridiculously successful. Why? Because they have a bar underneath them that has shows, and then they also have shows like 3 or 4 days a week. I mean, that's what these places used to be. They used to be like, a meeting ground or community space. So I think a lot of record stores are now turning to, like, if a band comes in, have them do an acoustic set that day because they're just hanging out anyways before the show. Or, just get people in the store. And, like, if you have music in the store, people have to hang out in between sets. They're going to buy something.
That's following through on the Apple analogy. They do Apple sessions. They have in-store where they record them, and then the difference is they record them and put them up on iTunes and sell them. But they've taken that model and extended it. It's some people would argue the Soho store in New York City is a community thing.
Well, I was going to say that the same movie could be made for audio stores, big speakers and so on, and you could have these guys when they go, they don't care anybody, put on his iPod, the earplugs, and what do they care about
that's what
brand and clothes and so on and so forth, I mean, it seems like a You know, like Henry Ford said, he said, I didn't make a better horse. You know, things are going to change, and I think it might be too early for, or we don't recognize the social networks that may arise beyond just the internet, so the virtual social networks. That it's so early in this process that we may develop those kinds of social meeting places that we had in that's what they basically were talking about. The culture is gone more than the product is gone.
Right.
That we may find it may evolve into some sort of a a meeting place where there's a personal connection made. Because in the 80s they said, oh, we're going to sit home, we're going to have this master, we're going to be like Star Trek, and we're going to buy things,
hover cars,
and we're never going to leave our house. And we're social animals. It never has and it never will evolve like that.
No, I mean, one of the points that I hope is infused, maybe it's not, maybe I don't know, but I mean, humans always end up humanizing technology, Yeah. We always end up finding a use or not finding a use for things. And we allow what goes on. We vote with our dollars, we choose where we shop, we choose what we use. So if you don't like something, just don't take part in it. I don't know,
You get in touch with Don Van Cleve.
From?
He's the head of the independent music stores.
He's not anymore. No, there's somebody else running that.
You're talking about coalition of
Yes.
independent music stores?
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
No. The name sounds familiar, though. A lot of those people are on that board, though,
Yeah. I know those two.
So you're a recent college student. Where did you go to school?
I went to Hampshire College, which is in Amherst, Mass. So.
And you majored in?
Documentary film. This is my thesis film there.
So this is your first one?
Yeah, this is my first one. I'm working on another one now on this guy called, his name is Danny Fields. He worked for The Doors, Janis Joplin, Cream, The Who. I don't know, everybody. He managed the Ramones, Iggy Pop, Nico. I don't know, just amazing stories. So a totally different movie in its own right than this is.
So if somebody had aspirations to be a documentarian, what advice would you provide them from this point in your life?
Watch a lot of films, pick up a camera, and just go with it, And I would say that to any of you who are thinking about starting something in the music industry or even have like an inkling of it, just go. Learn by doing. I don't know. I made, that's why I went to school for this. I made plenty of bad films before this, but you learn by doing. I don't know. So, like the guy in the back said, like it's a whole new world out there. The fact that like I could post this on YouTube, and a place like the Daily Swarm or Pitchfork pick it up, and it get 5,000 views in like 2 days, and now it's up to like 24, 25,000. I mean, it's crazy. Like 20 years ago, that wouldn't happen to anybody. So if you have a good idea, just run with it. I don't know. Bounce it off people. Get, feedback. Take criticism,
You did all the research yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And
read a lot of books. Yeah.
Read a lot of books.
Yeah.
And you conducted a lot of interviews, but then there were some other sources of material in there. I guess was it CBS?
Uh-huh.
I mean, how do you go? I mean, did you see that piece on TV, or you researched it?
You can research what they've have recorded in the box. So I would look, it would say like Napster spot 30 seconds. No, that won't be good. Napster spot 5 minutes. Oh well, there's got to be something good in there. So, I had no idea I'd find Billy Idol sticking his tongue out with no shirt on and telling record companies to kiss his ass, but lucked out. So.
Yeah.
Did you get any rights?
To the footage.
So how much of it? Do you want to tell them? Did you get, I mean, the rights to likenesses, you know.
You mean interviews, or you mean?
No, I even mean the pictures like of Paris Hilton went by. Remember that?
As far as I know, the rule, I could be wrong, for film on fair use is that you can use 3 seconds of anything, or, you know, the wide interpretation of it is that if you're illustrating a point, right, or you're referencing something, it's a broad interpretation. I'm referencing, record culture, hence the artwork. I mean, that's the other thing. Look at a film like Outfoxed. Do people know of that film? It's all ridiculous Bill O'Reilly clips and how right-wing they are. That guy made that film, and Fox just did not go after them. So this film comes out on Saturday, and I know that there's things that do not have the rights to it, but if they're going to come after me, I mean, I don't hope for it, and that's not my strategy to sell copies or anything like that. I hope nobody complains. I don't want to make anybody unhappy, but at the same time, I'm paying college loans. I don't have anything. What are they gonna take my camera away? I mean,
Did you form an LLC?
No. I mean,
Realistically, you have to make a really pretty good amount of money before.
Exactly.
Someone would sue.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So
not worth it.
But in terms of rights, there are no real good rules in this. There are certain practices some people adhere to, but other companies don't, and they can just be ignored.
Mm-hmm.
But chances are, I think a lot of that, I can tell you what I think. Most of it I think is great.
Yeah.
No problem with those things, I don't think.
Right.
You'd have expert witnesses and you'd have attorneys who would help you. I can guarantee it.
Yeah, I've got a few. So.
Who have you met, by the way? Do you know anyone from the Free Culture organization?
No.
Electronic Frontier Foundation?
No, I interviewed maybe one person from Electronic Frontier.
Do you remember the name?
No, it was a young person. Or it might have been somebody who, somebody who's trying to get, do you guys remember DRM music? Did you guys ever study that? They had tracks where record companies could find out where the tracks were going, who was using it, your personal information, credit card numbers, everything. And they've recently, and you couldn't add it to more than one iPod or something like that. So they recently took all that stuff off, I think all the tracks on iTunes and Amazon. And there was some organization that I interviewed somebody at that, but I don't know anybody at those, no.
Okay, well, let's thank Brendan for making the journey here from Brooklyn
Thanks,
tonight.
Steve. Yeah, thank you guys.
And again, it's available in stores starting this weekend, independent stores.
Oh, and I have a few copies with me if anybody would like to buy some.